everybody, good afternoon. This is Jean here, Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. Oh, what a day we've had. And I can't smile. I just got back from the dentist. As if that's not bad enough. I'm following up because so many, I can't smile, so many of you were concerned from the last video I put up. I'm a little bit out of it because we've had a day like you wouldn't believe. Last video I put up, our computer was hacked, and I put a video up, I believe it was last night. It's been a long time since last night because we've been up pretty much all night and all day. And we're going to have to be taking care of this the next month, perhaps. I just wanted to let you guys know what the upshot of it all was and how it began. We have a story. I have a story, and it's not a nice story. I was on my personal computer in my sewing room, and an email, not a suspicious email. Somebody had said, oh, don't answer suspicious emails. I know that. We all know that, and phone calls. An email popped up that was from our virus protection company, a very famous one. And we had this virus protection plan on our computer, on my computer, put on by our son who built a computer. Maxwell and Francois had built a computer for us about however many years ago, and I knew that the protection plan was up for renewal, and for a certain amount. And there was the protection plan, and an invoice was attached. And it said, and then I didn't quite think, I'm thinking, well, I don't think it's quite up for renewal right this minute. I wanted to check our files, and the payment has been authorized. And I'm like, and then it says, well, if you have not authorized this payment, contact this number. Don't do that. Scam, scam, scam. It looked legitimate. I mean, this was not, you know, a Nigerian prince asking for my credit card information and my mother's maiden name. We're not stupid. We're not gullible. This looked extremely legitimate. Well, long story short, we had gotten in contact. It was an American voice, and it was an American number. Not giving any information, not hardly giving any information, but just the sheer fact of clicking on it. My computer has been for a while compromised. Ian had gotten on the phone, and because all of a sudden, after however much dialogue, I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't sound too cool. We're not stupid. We've come to the conclusion. Ian is a very nice person. Ian is a very nice person. I'm not so nice. I'm like, no, I think this is a scam. Click off. Well, Ian is a lovely person. And it's interesting because we're older, and I'm making this video for, like, you know, maybe perhaps some educational knowledge out there, educational, what we've learned from this situation. As older people who are trying to keep up with technology, we do pretty good. We really do. We do pretty good on our computers. It's been a learning process, but certainly not like the young ones can do, and certainly not like scam artists can do. We do pretty good, but we had already been compromised. And then we figured it out. We made a few phone calls. We called our son-in-law, who's not in the area right at this moment. He immediately said, "Oh, no, it's a scam. It's a scam." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And very quickly, Ian very quickly called the bank, and something had been messed with a little bit, maybe. So immediately, fraud. They locked all of our accounts. Now we had quite a few children. We have 10 children, and in their names we had accounts. Well, since then they're in our names, but they're in their names, but it's our money that's put in their account because they're all married and everything, which was fine. So, but our business and how I get paid for what I do, our business account and our personal account and a savings account now was completely frozen. We had no access to it whatsoever, and it's fraud, okay? But it was safe, okay? But, so that was last night. And it was just so fascinating how it worked. And it was, we're too old for this. And Ian was really, really upset. And for some reason, after sitting on the computer for, a little while, I felt like, he's trying to sort it out and he couldn't because we're not computer savvy and what had happened. For some reason, after much prayer, really, seriously, for some reason made the video I made last night. Like, oh, what was it, a 4-minute video? Sort of freaking out like, oh my word, this is bad. Our banking, our computer, blah, blah, blah. We've been hacked. That was my last video. I just threw that up on the computer, and I've gotten quite a lot of comments, lovely comments, insightful comments, and immediately we said Maxwell would help. Immediately Maxwell disconnected the computer. He turned the computer off. We turned it off from the internet, blah, blah, blah. But it was interesting, the LifeLock protection that quite a few of you said use, which is awesome, was one that we were responding to. Scam. That looked completely legit. That wasn't. So anyway, Ian aged 20 years. There's a lot of things. We aged 20 years, falling trees. We're not planting bamboo. Anyway, I went to bed. Around midnight. No, about 10 o'clock. I'm tired. I can't do this. So Maxwell and Ian were on the computer. Well, it was so interesting. And again, we really feel prayers were answered. There was a lovely person in England who follows me, who's a friend of the family. She saw my video that I had just put up. In England, that's 5 hours difference. It was in the early hours of the morning there. She saw the video and she had talked to her husband. She said, oh my goodness, Ian and Jean, Truelove's computer, blah, 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 blah. Her husband here is a computer whiz. More so than our son-in-law Maxwell. Got on the phone and messaged my husband in the wee hours of the morning there. Long story short, spent about 4 hours cleaning my computer. Found all these viruses and all of these things and all of these, interesting, I don't know it. When you see accept cookies, I never do. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't know what that means. I got enough cookies in my body. I don't know. So I never, ever accept cookies. Here, there was 170 cookies accepted, and I'm like, no, I have never. He said, if automatically, doesn't matter if you push accept or not, that thing is on your computer. I don't know what that means, don't ask me. But there was that, there were viruses, there was this, there was that. I'm like, oh my word. And our banking, online banking, was not compromised because Ian had called the bank, And that was another thing. Right before I went to bed, I heard Ian on the phone to the bank. This is how paranoid we had gotten. He's like, I'm on the phone. Nerves were frayed. And he's like, I'm on the phone with the bank. And all of a sudden I'm going, are you sure that's the bank? And that, we're not being defrauded. And I'm like, what's the number? And we were sort of angry with each other and our nerves were frayed. And he's like, no, this is the bank. They've frozen our accounts and it's in the fraud system now and blah. Huge thing. So I went to bed knowing that, like, oh no, right, okay, whatever. So anyway, in the middle of the night, when I'm asleep, our lovely friends in England were helping Maxwell and Ian on this end, setting up. Unbelievable. So he was cleaning up our computer. Shocking. Finding it. He's a computer whiz. So thank you so much. Prayers. It was too much of a coincidence. His wife said that was too much of a coincidence. That she late at night in England, happened to click on my video that I put up. I'm like, oh no. And then they got in touch with us. Our computer is clean, it's wiped, it's super, there's protection, da 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 da. He was explaining what happened because, again, we're not computer savvy. But what happened is at 3:45 in the morning, Ian was in his office. He had not gone to sleep. And I was in the bedroom, and for some reason, I woke up and I quickly did my telephone online banking, my telephone banking, mobile banking. And it was open, it was everything. We have 3 savings accounts, which have, and many checking accounts for business and but the one savings account has quite a bit of money in it for us. Now you have to understand, and 2 other accounts, which had a little bit of money in them, our savings, 0, 0, 0 balance, 0, 0, 0 balance, 0, 0, 0 balance. There's no money in those accounts. And it hadn't sunken in my stressed brain that the bank had taken those funds somewhere and put them somewhere. They weren't in those accounts. Well, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you see your life savings have gone, supposedly, I honestly, you have to understand, again, another little story. We've had so many children, and my husband has been the sole breadwinner of our family. He's earned very good money. The money's come in and the money's going out. We've had 10 children to feed and clothe and insure and take care of, and we've done it. And we've never really put. Let me just say this: people who put their faith in their bank account, you can be devastated. Devastated. We put our faith in God, Jehovah God, who's always looked after us. And we've worked as hard as we can, and we've never wanted for anything. And we've had money at times, and then we've been very poor at times. And our quality of life, with both scenarios, has not really changed. We've been blessed. We've never gone hungry. We've always had food and clothing and shelter, because we've always been looked after. So at this point, we had a little bit of money, because as the Bible says, money is for a protection, and as we're getting older, and it was gone. In my mind, it was gone. And for the heartbeat, I'm thinking, oh no. And then I can't explain, this calm came over me, and I thought, what do you, it's just money. It's numbers on a paper. I made myself a cup of tea. We had food in the fridge. We have a lovely home. And we're healthy. And I thought, oh, come on. It's just money. And I had a very sense of calm. And I went and told Ian, and of course he had his initial thought, like, what? So at 4 o'clock in the morning, we called the 24-hour banking, and here, no, it was specific. The money is, you can't see it, but it is there. So anyway, Ian was on the phone another hour, so a total of 5 hours. He's going to be on the phone another hour, 6 hours, with our chap friend in England, along with Maxwell, doing this, doing that, running scans all night long, figuring it out, cleaning up. We didn't have to take the computer out. It's still sitting in my sewing room. What a blessing. What a blessing. What prayers were answered. Because we were really, as I said, we're getting too old for this. And it was, as I said, it was not a coincidence. It was just, the way things happened, and the way things happened so beautifully, and the help we received. But we had to go to the bank 5 hours today. We just got in, and Ian has to go back again to sort out our banking. That's just the beginning of it. That is just our accounts being mirrored into yet brand new accounts. And it's funny, because we've had these accounts with this lovely bank, actually, forever. And you've memorized your bank accounts, and I'm like, oh, we got to get more bank accounts. And even Maxwell's little bank account, he has his little debit cards, and he was sort of freaked out because he had to go with us Not for the whole 5 hours we sat there, but he had to go. We came home and picked him up. And in the meantime, I had to go to the dentist. We sat there from, 9:30 in the morning till 9:30 till 1:30, and then I had a 2 o'clock dentist appointment. My face is still numb, and then we had to go back. We just went back for another hour, about an hour and a half, sitting there. And we still haven't sorted all out the banking. Because again, we had to get in touch. They had to get in touch with the fraud department. They had to unlock my banking, all new passwords, all new da 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 da. And now the fun begins, where I have to contact everyone. I have 30 days to do that. Contact everyone who has like an automatic payment. Like we do have a small car payment. I have to contact that leasing company. We have to contact this people, that people, that people. If we're going to be paid, we have to contact those people to change the account number. It's a nightmare, and quite a few of you have said, "Oh my word, this has happened to us." The thing that freaked me out the most is when we were speaking to our friend chap in England. My pictures and files have been taken. They're still on my computer, but they have been used, and I'm like, they have been stolen. And I'm thinking, well, what? Like I have tens of thousands of pictures of our grandchildren, of life and everything. And I'm thinking, what important files do I have? I have a bunch of YouTube videos, and, I look on Facebook and Pinterest. I mean, I'm not, like, I don't work from home or anything. I don't have, confidential files or anything like that. But I'm thinking, ooh, the pictures. But then again, as Ian said, well, if you put stuff on Facebook, or you put a picture of a quilt, and I'm like, oh, somebody's going to be copying my quilts. seriously, because somebody said, I do follow a group, and somebody said their quilt picture was stolen and made by a company overseas somewhere, and made into a blanket, for $20 on some foreign website that you can get, and I thought, oh wow, so if you see any of my quilts, because my pictures have been stolen, that's no big deal. But it's sort of, as somebody said, what an invasion. You feel violated. And that's what it was. It was like my silly little computer, my lovely little videos, and the banking was the biggest thing, obviously. And that hasn't been taken, so that's a good thing. But now, what a pain in the neck. And and then on top of it, I went to the dentist. I've had a good day. So I thought, well, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with Jean and Ian. And I divulge, I share, but I just said to Ian, I wanted to put this video up because so many of you sent your well wishes and sent your prayers. I really believe our prayers were answered, because on top of COVID, on top of restrictions, on top of not mental illness, but yeah, like this whole pandemic, fatigue, craziness, the evil world we live in, this has to happen. We need this like a hole in the head, right? And having to deal with it. But as I was saying, we are not stupid. This email, I can't stress enough, it was not suspicious. It was what we have. It was a well-known company who poor company, like to have the actual, going back to their company. What a terrible thing. What a terrible thing that they're having to deal with that. Just ugly, nasty people. These were Americans. Just American voice, because some scammers are quite obvious. And as I said, we're not gullible. But we got scammed and we got hacked. And I think maybe somebody had said it's happening quite a lot. Now I know perhaps younger people were senior citizens. Maybe it's because the demographics, who we are, and we are senior citizens, and maybe we're not quite as savvy. Maybe we are nice. My husband is. I cottoned on slightly quicker than my dear, kind, very charming and pleasing and personable husband. He's too nice. And it was the damage had been done just by the sheer amount of time that he had spent with the scam artist. That didn't sound like a scam at all. And it was only literally just a few minutes before I'm thinking, wait a second. And as I said, they didn't ask for any information. They didn't ask for any banking information. They didn't ask, They didn't. But it was like this insidious, gut feeling I had. And my husband didn't have it at that moment. And then the damage had been done. So be very, very careful. Oh, I'm putting up this video. I'm looking at myself. I look a mess. My math is getting a little bit better. We just sat in the bank. Oh my word. We let Maxwell stay here by himself because I knew it that he couldn't take that. He couldn't take it. So anyway, I'm going to put this video up now. Everything is going to be okay. I have, as I was saying in my last video, I have other videos that I've filmed before. I had filmed a video several days ago with Maxwell, and I have my block party videos. I have 3 of them up to block number 10 already ready to be put on each week, and then I'm going to and then I have another little video I'm going to put up, but I just wanted to then I'm going to for the block party, actually I'm gonna do sort of a where we are, like a compilation of what we've done already, and see where we are and see what people are doing, see what I've accomplished. So that's to come. But I just wanted to put this up and let you guys know we are okay, and the prayers really helped, because I really don't think we could have. Well, we would have. We've had hideously tough situations before in our almost 40 years of marriage. And we've triumphed. It's been fine. But it's interesting how I actually felt about the money. It's just money. And I don't have as I say before, I don't have a cavalier attitude towards it. I'm not being silly about that. But then when it comes down to it, we have our health and we have each other. And we have our lovely friends out there. Oh, one thing I did want to just address. If you had made a comment about the bamboo, so many of you are apologizing. It wasn't you guys. It was so not you. I asked for information, which we received. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We had gotten hideous, as you know, terrible. I've told you, I had gotten some really insulting comments. Not kind comments from the majority of you. I want to apologize if you think that you offended us or offended me. Not one bit. I was a bit upset that I came across that every comment was horrible. It wasn't. The ones that were horrible, and the ones that were horrible were people that I did not know, that are not. That don't follow my channel, because there's you know who you are. We have this community of comments, because people do read the comments and see each other, and they know that this person is has that and that person, and that's just lovely. And it was none of you guys, so I don't want you to feel bad. And I apologize to you for maybe making you feel bad that it was you who offended us. Not whatsoever. Nasty people out there. Horrible. Somebody did comment like, oh, the world's full of buttheads. They really are. Nasty, horrible people. Stealing, just scamming. And I could see that, I could have seen that, like, seriously, we're not little old lady and man, but could have been completely taken in by this legitimate scam. Obviously not, but seemingly legitimate, because again, we are on the lookout. We know that there's nasty people. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know the upshot of our last 24 hours. It's been grueling. I haven't eaten. I had a piece of toast this morning. It's now about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. I haven't eaten all day. I was at a bank and sitting in front of a computer, and then sitting in the dentist office, and I said, we're going to get some takeout, some Italian takeout. because I can't face cooking. Can't face cooking on a good day, let alone a day like today. And I'm going to wait till I get my feeling back in my face, and I'm going to have a nice bath and just relax, and then start the day tomorrow by calling 1,000,000 people and having it. So it's ongoing, but I think the worst is over. My computer's clean. It's protected. It has this protection, that protection, that protection. This, but the fellow, you know who you are, in England. You really saved us, and God really looked after us by providing you, all of you, with such nice thoughts and prayers. So I hope you all stay safe and stay well away. As somebody said, it's not when it happens. It's not if it happens, when it happens. It's a nightmare. So I hope it doesn't happen to you guys. Anyway, one day at a time. All right, folks. Thanks so much for listening to my story. Yet another one. All right. Have a good one. Love from the Trueloves. See ya.